Hey friends, I'm Jonathan Wallace, lead pastor of Getwell Church. One of the greatest privileges of my life is to get to be a part of a community where we help one another follow Jesus in every aspect of our lives. And really that is the call that we have, to follow Jesus in every way, in every part of our lives. The problem is we have a world and a spiritual enemy that does not want to see that happen. But thankfully, we have a God who loves us so very much that He gives us certain gifts, certain tools that we can use in our lives to better follow Jesus day in and day out. We might call these things spiritual disciplines or spiritual practices, and they're so very important in our journey of following Jesus together. So as a church, we want to emphasize some of these practices to help one another follow Jesus more faithfully. And our first spiritual emphasis as a church is going to be an emphasis on community. Community is so incredibly important. We all need relationships. We all need community as we seek to follow Jesus. And we need to help one another in every aspect of life. There's going to be moments in our lives where we need somebody to step in. Maybe we go through a difficult time, or we have a challenging decision, or maybe we just want to celebrate something wonderful that's happened in life. And the flip is also going to be true as well. There's going to be other people in our lives that need us at certain moments. And if we're going to be able to step into those places, we need to be engaged week in and week out so we can be ready when the moment comes. Now, together, we can help one another to build community in following Jesus. But we need to be intentional because it does not happen by accident. We live in a world that's busier than ever. And so there are distractions and things pulling us away from real relationship. We live in a world where we have more information than we've ever had before. And so maybe we're confusing knowing about things with knowing people. Perhaps we know what somebody's going through or what's happening in their lives, but are we connected with them? You see, here's what real community requires of us. Number one, we need face-to-face connection. Are we spending time with people over time? We need people that we're engaged with, number two, to support us and encourage us, and sometimes even challenge us. We need to have relationships that are built so strong that we can hold one another accountable and push one another to follow Jesus day in and day out. So as a church, we want to help one another to do this. Here are some ways that we encourage you to seek community in your life. Number one is just to look for opportunities around you. Who are the people that you run in the same circles with or engage in the same activities with? Who are you neighbors with? Who do you see at church on Sundays or Wednesdays or in other activities? Who are people that you have the same values with or same interests with? Use those platforms as opportunities to reach out. Understand that all of us need community, and we often are waiting for other people to reach out to us when perhaps God is calling us to take the initiative to reach out to others. So what are those opportunities that you can start right where you are? But we also want to create some opportunities for you here at our church and our church body, whether you go to South Haven or Hernando. And so let me share with you some of the ways that we're working to help you create community. For those of you that are a part of our Hernando campus, let me tell you how we're creating some opportunities for you to connect with one another. Beginning in August, we're starting our Getwell Studies. You might remember these formerly called our Sunday Studies. Well, now they're our Getwell Studies simply because not only will they be offered on Sundays, but now they'll be offered on Wednesdays as well. 2 opportunities each and every week for you to connect throughout the month of August. Now, each of these will be the same content, so we're just giving you options. Perhaps Sunday doesn't work for you. You're going to have a Wednesday option as well. As we come together for this teaching, diving into God's Word, looking at some specific practices of how we follow Jesus together, we're also going to have some time for a small group breakout where you're going to get to have conversations and pray together and think about how to live this out in your life. Now, here's our hope. As we come to the end of August, we ask you to consider using this momentum to jump into a small group for the months of September and October. Through this 8-week time period, we're going to be walking through a book by John Mark Comer called Practicing the Way. This book is all about finding the way of following Jesus. knowing that it's not something that we do together. It's not just a study. It's not just a list of things we believe, but it's something that we do together, fully committed, following Jesus, supporting, encouraging, challenging each other along the way. So would you consider being a part of what's coming this fall, our Getwell Studies, our upcoming small groups, remembering that we can't do this life alone. We need one another as we follow Jesus. I'm reminded of what the writer of Hebrews said in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25, when he challenges us to not neglect meeting with one another. Why? Simply because we need one another as we seek to follow Jesus faithfully. My prayer for you and for me is that in the few months coming ahead and even beyond that, that we will truly find the relationships and community that God intends for us to have, that together we'll be able to follow Jesus more faithfully. In our mission statement, we talk about this. We don't just follow Jesus, but we pursue Jesus together, understanding that we do life better together than we do alone. And may you be blessed and challenged and encouraged in all the best ways by the God who loves us as we join our lives together.